Gloria Havenhand, biologist, beekeeper and author, and I live at Troway Hall in North East Derbyshire, and thank you for joining me today. You know, I've just taken a minute or two out to have a look at our brochure that we published about 6 months ago, and even I forget sometimes the number of products that we produce, the number of honeys, exceptional honeys by the way, not just any honey, exceptional honeys, and how many products we have for anti-allergy, like hay fever for example, psoriasis, eczema, and in fact we have so many consultants, so many skin dermatologists that actually come to us now specifically for allergies. So when I'm talking to you here, I'm talking to you professionally and also as a lover of many of the components from the beehive. In many ways, I suppose I was brought up by bees. My grandmother, just at the end of the war, my father was in the RAF, and she brought me up from the age of about 6 months. And she had one little beehive in a mining community in Derbyshire. What a grand girl she was, Martha. But she did tell me so many things about the beehive. She had one little hive, and when she went to it, she didn't have a bee suit like we do. She had a net curtain. And so I had a little net curtain too. So when you're at someone's knee, you learn such a lot. But the one thing is, she used to say to me, Gloria, honey is too important and too therapeutic to eat. Of course I eat honey all the time. I cannot stop eating honey. I'm nearly 72. I have not an ache or a pain. Many of my fellow beekeepers are exactly the same. We eat products from the beehive morning, noon and night. I don't think I've had an aspirin, a paracetamol for 20 years. Occasionally I rick my back, but that's about it. Then back to the beehives again. So what's it all about in the beehive? Beehive at the end of the day is nature's own pharmacy. And we here at Troway Hall, or as you can see here, our little brochure, and don't forget too, when we look here, Judy Dench actually has honey every day, and she has it in her Assam tea. And it's called The Beehive, Nature's Golden Healer. And from there, I hope that one day you read the book that we produced, and Medibee produced, I produced, and it's called Honey, Nature's Golden Healer, filled with pages of photographs, our tending the bees, and all our products. And the most important thing is how they can affect your life, how they can alter your life. They've certainly altered mine. I couldn't live without the passion for bees. I am, as you might say, bee-sotted. I'm going to start, actually, on that first page that says exceptional honeys. Exceptional honeys. And why? Medibee, because that's our trading name, has antibacterial honey, the only antibacterial honey produced in bulk in the whole of the UK. We rival, of course, the New Zealand opposition called Manuka. Oddly enough, I had a bloke come along yesterday and he said, I don't know what Manuka means, Gloria. And I said, well, it really means the tea tree bush. It is a bush. Oh, he said, I thought they put the antibacterial agent in it. No, no they don't. Manuka is an extremely good honey, but it does cost a lot of money. When I look here at our antibacterial honey, and we have a jar here, always with a little orange top, you can spot it anywhere, in Waitrose, Dobbys, wherever. In here, Chatsworth for example, you'll find it there. A lot of places now, in fact our demand outstrips supply. We cannot really produce any more on the 3 bee farms that we have. So I hope that you bear with us on there. Eat as much as you can, but it's limitation to put out there so you can just grab it handily. Our antibacterial honey just doesn't come out of the blue. It comes basically from the trees that we grow. And they're not any trees either. They are Christmas trees, and we have thousands and thousands of them, literally at the back of me where I'm talking to. By the way, this is my kitchen. Do excuse it, as it were. They're not quite cleaned up altogether this morning. Our exceptional honeys are also what we call a progression of honeys from hedgerows, from our wildflower meadows, and our very special hay meadows that go back to the 13th century. Yes, you did hear right. The 13th century. Totally untouched, never ever ploughed, and they go down towards the River Moss. An absolute exceptional environment in our modern era. I would not allow it any other way, and neither will my forebears. As I speak at the moment, it is August and we're beginning to see the flowers go back. And at this time of year, we're beginning to see the bees change a little. Among the varieties of flowers that have been, of course they're not there anymore. So they're changing their attentions, their pheromones, that is their senses, are taking them onto our Christmas trees. Yes, I can hear you saying it, but Gloria, Christmas trees don't have flowers. And you're quite right, they don't. But you know what they do have? They have gums and they have resins. Anybody ever remember gold, frankincense and myrrh? Gold because the baby Jesus was a king. But also frankincense and myrrh were gums and resins from the plants themselves. Frankincense was always used as an antiseptic, almost like a disinfectant. And in faith today, that women actually douche themselves with frankincense, and before any woman in the East is married, she has a douche with frankincense. And literally, apparently, I probably might like to try this too actually, it is the most refreshing douche you will ever have, and it is totally antibacterial and antiviral. So these gums and resins give something to our honey that we never ever expected 30 years ago. When I noticed that our honey was going darker and darker, and it has a tremendous ring of pollen and wax and propolis, now there's the name I'm coming up with, propolis, because the gums and resins are changed by the bee, by the mouth parts of the bee, by the stomach of the bee, into something called propolis, P-R-O-P-O-L-I-S. This propolis is quite brown and sticky, and once I've got a bee suit on going in between the trees, quite frankly, I come out looking as if I've had a soil bath rather than anything else. The gums and resins that the bees collect are infinitely important to keep their beehive sterile. In fact, so sterile, they plaster their entrance with this propolis. So every time they walk over it, they're going on a germicidal foot mat. They have put it there. And of course, they bring it back to the hive. They paint all the inside of their hive with propolis, and at the end of the day, this filtrates and filters into our honey, which makes it antibacterial. It was a marriage that I never ever thought of, a marriage I could never, in my whole life, could I have foreseen. Today, our honeys go all over the world, by the way, and we have a check on it all the time from Professor Milton Wainwright, Sheffield University, super guy, and he checks it periodically, and really and truly our honeys get more antibacterial, not less. So we can't quantify 5, 10, 15, whatever it is, and do bear in mind that those standards from Manuka are not a range of options for concentration of antibacterial activity, they are merely trademarks. So we don't deal with trademarks like that. Ours is antibacterial and it is there for you. And by the way, rather than paying £15 to £20, you'll pay £7.50. And the taste is out of this world. Now I said to you here, I'm actually reading the page here, and I look at allergy horror. Allergies. Number 1, hay fever. My grandmother used to say, Gloria, back when I got to 9 or 10, and then I was sneezing a little bit every time I went out to play, she used to say, just actually chew on the pollen from the beehive. The pollen from the beehive. Yeah. Well, we've progressed since then. We have put this pollen from the beehive because bee pollen is very different to ordinary pollen from flowers. From flowers, of course, it is not touched by a bee. But once the bee begins to put the secretions from the hypopharyngeal glands in from the bee's little chin, then it changes, and its own antihistamines begin to go into the pollen. Marvellous. So when you have hay fever, and you're going to go and go at Piriton and everything else, by all means do. But you'll feel drowsy, and you don't, and can I drive? None of those with our bee pollen. No side effects, whatever. And you take 4 to 6 a day from February to September, absolutely, well, hay fever free, allergy free. And then of course, what I'm going to show you today, and I've made sure that we have, and that is our propolis cream. Because if you have psoriasis, eczema, acne, any of those, you'll find it superb. In fact, we have now so many consultants and dermatologists that come for it, for children, for adults, cold sores, For people, for example, who are bedridden, people who've had psoriasis, that they're stressed out of their minds, our Propolis skin cream is ace, and it's not very expensive either. In fact, nothing from the beehive is expensive. We then go on and I think, wow, all our natural beehive supplements, including royal jelly, which really and truly is the jewel from our beehives. Royal jelly, you can see I'm nearly 72, and you know I only look 21. Wow, royal jelly every day of my life. I admit, get it from the beehive on most occasions. But you too can take it. You too can feel a lot better than probably you do today. And a lot of women have had it and helped them through premenstrual syndrome and certainly through the menopause. It's really worth looking at. Now, I'm more or less coming to the end of my introduction because I'm going to take you through a sequence of products that we have. Our little pamphlet here gives about 62 different products. We're here at Troway Hall and we're also at the Bakewell shop, so never forget. Our mail order we do all through the United Kingdom. But before I leave you, I want to entreat you. A little worker bee, how lovely she is, only lives for 6 weeks. And in all that time, the total amount of honey she will produce is here. Exactly there. 1/10 of a spoon of honey. That's all she will produce. So when you have a little honey left in the bottom of a dish, the bottom of a jar, at the bottom of anything, never ever waste it. It's that bee's life that she has sacrificed for you. There is nothing like the taste of Medibee antibacterial honey. I don't bother putting a label on mine, but it's exactly the same as the one with the label. Will you come on a journey with me? Will you actually come to our new cafe? Will you come and join us and have all the 8 or 10 different honeys every year? Will you come and wallow in them, taste them, actually feel better by them, and then come and tell me that you don't really believe in the beehive?